When you spend time at a gun show, as we did last week, it's difficult to figure out why the National Rifle Association is mounting such a vigorous campaign to repeal the banning of assault weapons. Maybe nobody told them, but assault weapons are still for sale, no matter what the president's crime bill decrees. They're being sold by the thousands. One gun dealer in Louisville, Bill Perkins, goes so far as to call the ban a joke.
As far as the ban and doing what it was intended to do, it's silly. It's not doing it. It's not going to do it.
Perkins says that the minute it looked as if the ban would pass, people who never thought about an assault weapon rushed out, determined not to let the government tell them what they couldn't have, and bought one or two.
Clinton and that administration has been good to the gun business.
Clinton's been good to the gun business.
He's been one of the best salespeople around. No
Bill
doubt.
Clinton. When he signed the assault weapons ban, you're saying that that act itself spurred this sort of...
That act did more to put more firearms out there on the streets as far as in the hands of citizens. He accomplished what gun dealers have tried to accomplish for years, and that is to get these sales up.
It was like an advertisement? Is that what you're saying?
That's all it was. It was the best advertising campaign you could imagine.
Advertising so good that it made 1994 the best year for gun sales in a generation, and the best year for the sales of assault weapons ever. And yet, even with that unprecedented demand, there is still an enormous supply of these so-called banned guns available, and it's all legal. At this Miami gun show, there are literally hundreds and hundreds of the AR-15 like this, the Tech 9, and all the others on the banned list. And this is just one show in one city.
Now, why are all these guns still legal to sell? Because they were made before the law took effect last September. The ban lists 19 guns that can't be made or imported anymore. But those already in circulation, they're fine. So when President Clinton signed the bill and said,
"We will finally ban these assault weapons from our street that have no purpose other than to kill,"
it was a good applause line, but these banned weapons are still everywhere, on the streets, in gun shops, advertised in every gun publication, and at gun shows all over the country. Bob Smith is the promoter of the Miami show.
Right now, there is so much product on the market, it's actually overwhelming. The prices are falling in some cases.
Would you call it a glut?
In a way, yeah, exactly.
That is almost the opposite. I won't say almost, that is the opposite of what was intended by this ban.
It's had an opposite effect, absolutely.
Can you guess how many of these assault weapons are out there for sale right now? Are we talking hundreds of thousands?
At least that many.
Actually, the government estimates that the total number in circulation is closer to 1.5 million.
I presume that most of the distributors and manufacturers saw this thing coming. It's sort of like playing the stock market. You're taking a bet, will they be banned or will they not be banned? And if you hedge your bets by, stockpiling these things, getting them in the warehouse, getting them manufactured, getting them stamped before the enactment of the bill, and they are in fact banned, then you're going to come out on top.
And some did that?
Sure they did.
California Senator Dianne Feinstein worked for more than a year to get the assault weapons bill passed in the face of ferocious opposition from the National Rifle Association. She says she got the best she could.
If I could have gotten 51 votes in the Senate of the United States for an outright ban, picking up every one of them, Mr. and Mrs. America, turn them all in, I would have done it. I could not do that. The votes weren't here.
But are you worried that it got watered down so much that it's lost its real effectiveness?
Yeah, let me tell you, there is a very potent part of this legislation, and it is the ban on the manufacture and sale of clips of more than 10 bullets.
But just as with the guns, it's not so potent after all, because all magazines or clips manufactured before last September are perfectly legal to own, buy, and sell, no matter how many bullets they hold. 10, 20, 30, 50. And there are mountains of them out there.
So I might have what's on this table. There may be hundreds and thousands of more mags just like them that are still pre-ban date.
So if I wanted to buy a gun with 30 rounds or 15 or 20, I wouldn't have any trouble.
Not at all.
How-
It's not against the law. It's
Because these were made before.
Right.
But is there just an endless supply of these mags with more than 10 rounds?
actually, yes.
To make sure that supply remains endless, some gun distributors have come up with a creative strategy. They're trying to get old, pre-banned magazines back from cops to be resold to the public, because the law applies to all magazines, including those for pistols. The flyer sent to police chiefs offers to make an even swap, brand new pistols and magazines in exchange for the police department's used ones.
At first, of course, it seems to violate the first law of fraud. You know, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
Doug Hamilton is the
that's
police
how I
chief
would
in
say
Louisville, Kentucky. He got the swap offer from his local distributor, Keesler Police Supply. They were trying to get around this ban because they could sell your gun
They could sell our weapon
with the
and they
15
could,
rounds.
and they could sell our magazine out on the street, retail over the counter, and it was strictly, like say, legal.
Legal because the law says that new magazines that hold more than 10 bullets can be made only if they're sold to law enforcement, while the old ones can be sold to anyone. That's why gun dealers are so eager to get the old 15, 17, or 20 round clips back from the police. And this is what the manufacturer wants when he offers you a swap. This is the thing
In the
he's
final
most
analysis,
interested
that was the thing in Louisville, Kentucky that was wanted by the distributor, was our magazines, 2,100 of them.
The owner of Keesler Police Supply wouldn't talk to us on camera, but defended the offer as a simple and legal business deal. Several police departments have taken them up on it, and police trade-ins are already on gun shop shelves.
I thought for us to participate in it would be a violation of the spirit of the law.
But what about for them to make the offer?
I think they're just exploiting a loophole.
The obvious question is, the police gun that gets traded could turn around and be sold to someone who goes out and shoots a policeman.
Sure, there's no doubt about that. There's no doubt that that's the worst case scenario and your greatest fear.
Does this violate the spirit and intent of the law? Absolutely. Should they be doing this? No. And I think it does say that there are craven interests out there who simply want to use this legislation to profiteer wherever they possibly can. And I can assure you, if I can figure a way to stop it, I'll try to do that.
Senator Feinstein thought she had figured out a way to stop another problem. She wrote something called a physical features test into the law, designed to keep gun makers from turning their banned guns into legal ones by making just a few minor changes. The law bans any new gun that has 2 or more of these military-style features: a pistol grip, a folding stock, a bayonet mount, a flash suppressor, or a grenade launcher.
It also, in its physical features test, is aimed at copycats. And one of the things that we found, if you just ban 19 specific weapons, suddenly the name changes. And instead of an AK-47, you have a Mitchell this or a Norinco that. And to a great extent, we get at this.
But once again, the ban has backfired. 5 months after it took effect, the copycats are already out. This is the Tech 22 banned by the assault weapons bill. This is the new Sport 22 from the same manufacturer. The only difference? The new gun has no threads on the barrel. The ban specifically outlaws the AK-47, but it doesn't do anything about the MAK-90.
Isn't this exactly the same gun as the AK-47?
It's very similar.
What's different? Can you show me?
It's got a thumb hole stock, which was necessary for importation, and it does not have a bayonet,
No bayonet, which would have gone here,
which would have gone here.
and just a different grip, really.
Exactly.
One of the most ludicrous things I think that I'm aware of is banning the bayonets on the end of a rifle. That's a knife blade. Why ban that in the first place? You mean if somebody walks in with one of these alias assault type weapons and it has a blade, you're going to look to see if it has a knife before you get scared? I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
People in the gun business say Congress asked for what's happening by writing a cosmetics law, focusing on how guns look rather than how they shoot. Colt, based in Connecticut, is one of America's oldest gun makers. Ron Whitaker is president.
We had a crime bill that was supposed to focus on crime and hopefully criminals. We end up with an assault weapon ban that has nothing to do with defining an assault weapon. It has a lot to do with what something looks like.
No question Colt's Sporter rifle looks menacing. It failed the features test because it has both a pistol grip and a flash suppressor on the end of the barrel. They can't legally make it anymore, so now they make the match target. Can you tell the difference? No flash suppressor on the end.
And now it will be legally sold with a new name and this tiny little feature at the end removed.
Well, that's true.
Well, what is your reaction when I tell you this? You wrote this legislation in such good faith, and both you and all the other people,
My
the police
reaction
chiefs.
is that there is a very craven set of people out there who are going to essentially traffic in these arms if they can, one way or another.
The charge is that you are just taking advantage of a loophole in the law and basically subverting the spirit of what Congress intended, which was to get this gun off the street. Now, what's your answer to that?
Well, that's just flat out not true. They passed a cosmetic law, and now they're sitting back saying, oh, woe is me. People are changing the cosmetics. I don't understand that logic.
Whether he understands the logic or not, the law doesn't seem to be working. Take the Tech 9 made by Intratec of Miami. It has shown up several times on the government's top 10 list of guns used in crime. It's small and easily concealable and comes standard with a 32 bullet clip. It's banned by name in the assault weapons law.
That gun is not exactly known to be well made, but since the ban, now all of a sudden it's became quite desirable. Now it's the mysterious item that everybody wants to come look at and buy because it's banned. Exactly.
It'll be a long time before gun dealers run out of old Tech 9s. But when they do, Intratec is ready. They're displaying a new version, slightly altered, that they're calling the AB-10.
Do you have any idea what AB
No.
stands for?
No.
After ban. And they're selling it with the old clip of 32 rounds. They're actually selling the new gun
With the 32
with the 32
round.
round that was manufactured before.
Well, I'll take a good look at that. If their attitude is just to thumb their nose at 67% of the American people who are supporting something with a view that it's going to get these guns off the street, they're going to violate that. Then the Congress needs to see that.
But would you admit that because of the composition of the new Congress, that it's unlikely you're going to get any more gun control laws passed in this Congress?
Oh, I think that's true in this Congress.
So no going forward.
I think that's true.